Phase 5 has officially begun in the Marvel Universe, with Kang the Conqueror as the main villain, played by Jonathan Majors. Kang is a multiversal conqueror who wants to conquer every single world and put his will on the multiverse. However, it is up to Ant-Man and his family and friends to work together to prevent that from happening. So this film, I'm going to break it up into two videos. I'm going to break it up into a video talking about the movie and what I thought about it, kind of my review, which is this video. So if you're interested in my thoughts or you want to just hear another opinion besides your own, this is the video to watch. And then I'm going to make a secondary video talking about the type of content that you can find in this video, kind of more like a parent's guide toward this film. So I'm going to get a little bit of background here. Both Jeanette Van Dyne and Hank Pym and Scott Lang have traveled to the quantum realm. Different areas of it, but they've all been there. Jeanette has been there the longest. She was in there for 30 years, while Hank was trying to find her once again to be able to bring her back to Earth and continue living with her after Scott, in the first Ant-Man movie, was actually able to return from the quantum realm. Before, that didn't seem to be possible. So anyway, this movie opens up. Scott Lang, Hope Van Dyne, they're living great lives. Everything seems to be happy and dandy. But Cassie Lang ends up in jail. And she keeps doing this where she gets in jail and then Scott has to break her out. And I guess this happened a lot of times and Scott wasn't aware of that. But beside the point, there's that part. And then Cassie Lang decides to show her father that she's been building a quantum satellite to send a signal down to the quantum realm. And all of a sudden, something goes wrong and they're all pulled into the quantum realm. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the details of what exactly happens because I don't want to spoil too much for you. But I am going to go into a lot of spoilers throughout this video. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, I would watch the Parents Guide video that I'm going to put out so that you can see what kind of content's going to be in it, and then come back and watch this one after you watch the movie, if you choose to. If not, spoilers going ahead.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
So apparently Jeanette didn't really tell anybody about her experiences in the quantum realm, and that she actually met Kang the Conqueror, started to help him rebuild his chair so that he could escape with her, until Jeanette realizes the truth about Kang and that he's a conqueror and he's not the person she thought he was. So Jeanette kind of organized these freedom fighters and was working to try to defeat Kang. But in reality, they couldn't beat Kang because Jeanette had already given him all his tech back. So she kind of just was hiding until Hank came and rescued her. And now that they rescued her, all was good until they got sucked back in. Now, Scott Lang and Cassie Lang are off on their own, and then Hope, Hank, and Jeanette are all on their own as well. So Ant-Man and his daughter both end up getting captured by Kang through MODOK. MODOK is actually Darren, who was also the Yellow Jacket in the original Ant-Man movie. He got shrunk, his suit malfunctioned, he came to the quantum realm, and he turned into MODOK. So Kang uses MODOK as the hunter, and the hunter hunts Scott, and they kidnap him. And Kang wants Ant-Man to do something for him. Now, Jeanette, when she stopped his chair, she helped him fix his chair, but then after realizing what's going to happen, she took the power core out of it, the multiversal crystal, and she expanded it to a point with her Pym particles that it was no longer usable. So Kang wants Ant-Man to shrink it back down to size so that he can escape. And he needs him to do that. So Kang makes a deal that Scott's not going to have to watch his daughter get suffered or killed as long as Scott does what Kang asks him. And Scott wants to do it. He loves his daughter, so he goes and starts to do it. And from there, he does do it. He makes the core smaller. Kang gets his hands on it. But before Kang's able to depart, Scott's able to team up with the Wasp and Hank and Jeanette and Cassie Lang on the side, and they're able to attack from within Kang's fortress and basically stop him from leaving the quantum realm Ant-Man, everyone gets out, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp finish Kang, and they kill Kang the Conqueror. All of a sudden, Kang the Conqueror is dead. So that's the gist of what happens. Post-credit scenes are great. I'm not going to go into those. Maybe another video for those. But here are my thoughts. That's like the summary. That was a very long summary, so I appreciate if you stuck with me on that. But here are my thoughts about the content for that part. So, okay, Jeanette didn't tell anybody that she met a conqueror down in the quantum realm that could take over the world. Why? Why did she not tell anybody? If I was that scared of somebody, I would say something, be like, hey, look, my daughter is an Avenger, and her love interest is an Avenger. Let me tell them this so that we know what we can do. I mean, yeah, maybe it's safe to be trapped down there, but Jeanette didn't tell anybody. And whenever somebody asked her about that, she'd just say, I don't have time to tell you right now. We got to go find Scott. Why? Why don't you explain what's going on so that they can better help you? No, they didn't do that. No, and then toward the end of the movie, after they beat Kang and they escape the quantum realm, everybody just acts like it's fine and dandy. I mean, Ant-Man starts to question in his head, hey, what did Kang mean by the fact that he's the only one that could bring peace? And was he just saying that? Are there more Kangs? What's going on? And he just says, oh, it's going to be all right. You're an Avenger. You're supposed to take every threat seriously. If I was Ant-Man, and if I was Marvel, I would have had Ant-Man go and calling up Falcon, call up Doctor Strange even, somebody, and say, hey, have you ever heard of Kang? Do you have any idea what this is about? Because this is a serious threat. It almost could have damaged the multiverse. Why would you keep that to yourself? I thought that was stupid. And the fact that there was a lot of lies in this movie, like Cassie wouldn't tell her dad about the fact that she was in jail a lot of times. I mean, so much secrecy, but why is there so much secrecy about all this? That just didn't make any sense in this movie. So that really got me to the point where I was like, okay, why is this happening? Another thing is MODOK. MODOK, okay, he survived. Great. He survived in the quantum realm. I kind of could tell from the first Ant-Man movie, when he shrunk, he kind of looked like MODOK. So I could kind of tell he was going to come back. But I'm sorry. His design with his mask was menacing. It was crazy. But I just couldn't take him really seriously. I mean, he felt like kind of funny. But I really couldn't take him seriously. The fact that he was all like, at the end of when he died, he was like, oh yeah, now I'm finally an Avenger. What? Are we just throwing that title out to anybody that we want to now? I mean, in Infinity War, when Iron Man knights Spider-Man become Avenger, it's a heroic moment. It's, I'm in the Avengers. Are we just throwing that out to bad guys who sacrifice their lives now? I mean, is Yondu an Avenger? I don't know. Maybe at this point. I mean, who knows what Avengers Kang Dynasty is going to hold? Maybe villains from the past will be Avengers. Maybe Ultron will be an Avenger. I mean, who knows? But that was kind of weird. I mean, of course, Scott comes back and it's like, a lot of weird things happen today. So yeah, a lot of weird things do happen. So you have that. I kind of find it weird that they killed Kang the Conqueror so quickly in one movie. Kang the Conqueror in the comics was a really big conqueror. In my opinion, they exiled that Kang. The Council of Kangs exiled that Kang because they were afraid of him. The Kang the Conqueror is able to be defeated by Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then this isn't going to be a big threat. Nobody died in this movie. I didn't want Ant-Man to die. I was going to be completely honest. I didn't want Ant-Man to die. He was a good character. He's one of the mains. I didn't want him to die. That's not saying that you could have had Jeanette or Hank Pym or somebody go to kind of show how important this villain's going to be for the MCU. I mean, if you're going to introduce a big bad, you should have had him do some last damage. But you didn't see that. You saw, I mean, with Thanos, when Thanos first came on the screen, he killed Heimdall, he killed Loki, and he killed half the Asgardians. It was crazy. But Kang didn't kill anybody but a couple of unknowns. So that kind of made the threat seem not as big. I mean, you get in the post-credit scene, you kind of get the Council of Kangs, you kind of see there is a threat. But it just didn't really make a lot of sense, especially since Kang was just zapping people out of time, but decided not to for Ant-Man and the Wasp and Cassie Lang. I mean, he could have done that and done that to Hank Pym too, and then boom, problem solved. Why didn't he do that? A lot of questions in this movie, and not as much like answers. So there was a lot of plot holes that I found this movie. But overall, it was a good movie. It was a good entrance into Phase 5. I think the visuals were way better than She-Hulk. I think it was great on that end. I liked how Scott was able to work as an Avenger and defeat Kang. I really liked that. I liked that they kept him alive. I think Jonathan Majors' performance was amazing. But there are a lot of things that they could have done better.